We're on Shekalim, Perek Zayin, Mishnah Gimel, third Mishnah in the 7th chapter of Shekalim. So until now we've been talking about what if you found money. But now what if we're going to talk about in this Mishnah, what happens if you found meat. Says the Mishnah, Basar Shenimtza Ba'azara, you're in the Beit HaMikdash and you found meat. Evarim, if you found them in limbs, meaning not cut up yet. Olot, then it's from olot. But chatichot, v'chatichot, if you found them cut up, meaning pieces, chataot. Then it must be a korban chatat or a korban asham. Okay, why? Because they would only cut up the pieces, meaning if it was going to be offered on the mizbeach, they would cut it into evarim, into limbs. They would separate the limbs of the animal and then offer them on the mizbeach. But the only thing that they would cut up into chatichot, into pieces, was meat that they were going to eat. So therefore, that would be either chataot, being a korban chatat, chataot ve'ashamot, okay, or a korban asham. B'Yerushalayim, if you found meat in Yerushalayim, zivchei shlamim, then you have to assume that it was from a korban shlamim, because remember, you were allowed to eat your korban shlamim, your zivchei shlamim, anywhere in the confines of the city. So we assume that a person took his meat after he offered this korban, and then he lost it. Okay, and what do you do with it? V'zeh, whether it's in the Beit HaMikdash or the zivchei shlamim Yerushalayim, Ti'ubar surato. You have to lose its shape, it has to pass its shape. What that means is, halachically, you have to wait until it's no longer usable, until it's asur. V'yetzei lebeit hasreifa. You can't, since it was, let's read the Bar Tudura, okay? V'zeh v'zeh, ben shenimtza ba'azara, ben shenimtza b'Yerushalayim. Whether you found the meat in the Beit HaMikdash or in Yerushalayim, to abar surato, it's pasul. You have to leave it to become pasul. Why? You can't eat found meat that belonged to a korban because it had hesach hadat. You lost your awareness of it, therefore it becomes pasul. But the einzel lizalzbem, you can't, since you might be korbanot, you can't lizalzel, you can't cheapen it. Ulesorfan, and to burn them, ad sheyifsalu bevadai. You have to wait until it's definitely pasul. Hilkach ba'u ibur tzura. Ibur tzura, they have to lose its shape, meaning lose its halachic quality. Hainu, shir paslu benotar. You have to leave it long enough that it's pasul. So what does that mean? Ibur tzura dishlamim, hainu ad yom shlishi. If it's a korban chatat, it's the second day. You can eat it one night and one day, and then at the night. So if you found it in the Beit HaMikdash, you wait till the next night and then you burn it. But if it's a shlamim in the Yerushalayim, you have 2 days, you have 2 nights, a night and then 2 days. And then the third night, it's already pasul, and you bring it to the Beit HaSreifa. Nimsu b'gvulim. Let's say you found meat in the gvulim, not in Yerushalayim, in Yad Binyamin. Evarim nevelot. If it was in the shape, if you found it when it was limbs, then it's nevelot. Then you assume why. The Bar Tudura says that the reason is because they would not, if an animal was, for example, if an animal was a nevelah means it was not shechted properly. It means it was treif, when it was shechted, it was killed, died. Okay, it was not shechted, it wasn't shechted in a way that made it a kosher animal. So it made it kosher. So therefore it's nevelah. So they'd have to cut it up to throw it to the dogs. But they wouldn't cut it up too much. Bar Tudura says, Shekain derech shechotchim nevelot be'evarim. They would chop it up into evarim, to limbs. Umashlichim be'rechovot sheyochlu haklavim. They give it to the animal, they would give it to the dogs to eat. Okay, they would throw it in the street. But chatichot, if you found pieces, mutarot, you assume that it's kosher. No problem at all. The Bar Tudura says we assume this in a Jewish city. And nowadays, can you imagine finding meat and saying, let's eat it? And during the times of the Chagim, when they were cutting up a lot of meat, they were shechting. Af evarim mutarim. They wouldn't necessarily chop it up right away. So if a person lost his evar of meat, I was once in, I think it was near Haifa. We were helping these Ethiopians. Somebody got a hold of a goat, they chopped it up, they shechted it, and they would just, they sold the whole thing right then and there. Remember, we're talking about not doing refrigeration. So when the shochet shechted the animal and cut it up, everybody took their piece and went home with it. And it's very easy for a person to lose their avar, to lose their limb of, their leg of lamb, literally. And therefore it's mutar, whoever found it. If the person was miya'eh, she gave up, then what are you going to do? We'll stop here. Learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha Yitzchak Kalman, and to Tzipor Fega, Matilda Bat Nachum Eli Melech. And as always, comments or questions, email me at rspolter@gmail.com. Have a great day.